The story Tuesday Siesta not only talks about showing dignity, but also being brave, no matter what your social class or your appearance may be. When the old woman came in contact with not only the priest and his wife, but later in the story, the other citizens of the town, it put her in a situation where she had to not only defend her own honor, but also the honor of her now deceased son, who was in a supposed robbery. The result of this came that she not only went to go and pay respects to her son, but while doing this, she had to ignore the stares and the judgment that was being passed on her by the other citizens who did not know the full story. The Mask of the Red Death opens up on a world of foolishness. It speaks on the point that riches cannot save you from death, nor can you ever escape death. When Prince Prospero decided to throw a party and lock his guests inside to protect them from the Red Death, he encountered a very large issue. His worst fear had infiltrated his castle, and Prospero decided to attack it, only to end up dead along with everyone else. While the short story The Bet touches on the subjects of sacrifice and greed, it also illustrates that isolation can destroy a human life, and that freedom is precious and therefore should not be taken for granted. When the young lawyer goes into the confinement place, he has no idea what he's in for. After coming in contact with no one but himself, he decides that he will leave, which was the result of an inside personal conflict, which meant that the banker could keep his money, which he actually needed a lot. The short story Skin talks about the importance of knowing who you put your trust in before you fully trust them, and also that greed can be any man's downfall. When Drioli enters the art gallery and comes in contact with the gallery owner, he had to prove himself worthy of being there. He revealed the masterpiece that was on his back. This resulted in many monetary offers for the art, which the poor old man could not resist. But he fell for the con man, who had no intentions of giving him anything that he promised. A hunger artist talks about a man who constantly tries to push the limits of his physical form, and a man who is also searching for not only validation, but also recognition from the world for what he is doing. When the hunger artist faces trouble with the impresario, he leaves him for a place that will let him fast as he pleases to break records. He comes in contact with the realization that he will never find the food that he liked, and so he died. As a result, a young panther was placed in his cage upon the hunger artist's death. In the story The Sniper, we are taught two things about war. One, there is no identity in war. And two, everyone is reduced down to mere objects. When the sniper finds himself dodging the shots of another shooter and killing anyone he can spy, he begins to plot the enemy's murder. As a result of the planning, the sniper shoots and kills his target, but only to realize that the enemy was his very own brother. In the story The Ones Who Walk Away from the Omelas, we are shown that time and time again, even in a utopian society, nothing is actually perfect, and where there is good, there is always evil nearby to counteract. When the city's secrets are revealed, there is no true happiness. As a result of the knowledge of the suffering child, a choice arose: stay and keep quiet and live in the happiness, or walk away and seek a change. The one topic that was discussed in The Mask of the Red Death that sparked the most argument was about the meaning of the room colors. After reading the story again, some loose ends have been tied up. The fact that the rooms go east to west could possibly refer to birth and death, like how the sun rises in the east and then sets in the west. The colors could metaphorically and literally represent a path to death, as when Prospero ran from the blue room to the black room, where he died, along with everyone else who followed him. If the black room represents death, and none of the guests dared to enter the black room, then you could conclude that they have a fear of death. Blue, as it is the farthest east, represents birth. Purple shows the independent stage of life. Green symbolizes growth. Orange is happiness and determination to live a good life. White refers to the coming of age, as when hair starts turning a grayish white color. Violet leans to the awareness of an incoming death soon enough, and black is death itself.